You get to meet many of the Youth to Innovator teams that have been working with us closely over the summer. And of course, you'll get to meet the Headstream innovators. Powering all of this work is the company's Second Muse, which over the last 11 years has been working to build these types of economies in all sorts of different sectors, from well-being to food, to waste, to economic development across our country. And without further ado, I'd love to introduce the CEO of Second Muse, Todd Kozin.
Thank you so much, David. It is, and welcome very much to the Headstream Festival. We're so excited that you were all able to join us. And you know, Dave gave a great setup of some of the history. I mean, a couple of years ago, we really started thinking about how we can shape an economy, you know, that's built around digital spaces and experiences for young people. You heard Ali, who's a member of our Youth to Innovator cohort, tell us yesterday during the festival kickoff that we don't want you to build digital spaces to replace real life, but to complement it. And you know, these are places and experiences that we want that are going to be designed at their core for human thriving. And so, you know, in the midst, you know, a global pandemic and a widespread awakening, certainly in the United States, of the desperate need for social justice, have only added fuel to the fire, both our fire and the broader community's fire. And so, you know, we spend, you know, the company, we spend our days and many nights thinking about economies of the future. And what that specifically means for us is economies that are imbued with social and environmental justice. So there, I mean, there's this idea that has been prevalent in economic thinking for centuries. And there's this idea, it's something that we call the negative externality. And it basically means economic growth has to come at a cost. You know, economies need to grow, but there's a cost. And that cost, you know, can be the environment, it can be an entire segment of the human family and their well-being. But the problem is that this is a design flaw. You know, the idea that you need to have this, it's a design flaw that we've kind of enshrined at the altar of a lot of our thinking, sort of within economies, and it's just wrong-headed. I mean, you wouldn't build a family literally on the backs of your children. You know, you wouldn't literally poison the well that you're drinking out of just because it's not smart. You know, we just wouldn't do that. So the thinking and the evidence is pretty abundant as well, is that these inclusive economies, they're not just gooder, but they're actually better. They're smarter. They're more resilient. They're more likely to last into the future instead of run headfirst into the brick wall of reality. And so one of the key things that we know to be true in building economy is that if you're trying to build an economy that works for all people, you have to build with all people. And this means universal participation. And so you're going to see this throughout the design of the program today. So by showing up, we don't just want your ears. You know, we want you to bring your voice, you know, your mind, your heart. If you have an idea, say it. You know, if you think that your idea might be half-baked, say it, because somebody else sitting next to you might have the other half. And so we really ask that people feel that this is the place to contribute, especially if you only have one piece of it, because we're fooling ourselves if we all think that we have more than one piece of a future that's worth living in for all of us. And so it would be culturally inappropriate for me, having been born in Iran, not to share some poetry from a Persian poet before I leave. So I'm gonna share a conversation between two frogs as told by the poet Rumi. One is a pond frog, and one is an ocean frog. And Persian poets love to do this. They love to have conversations with inanimate objects and with animals. To a frog that's never left his pond, the ocean seems like a gamble. Look what he's giving up: security, mastery of his world, recognition. The ocean frog just shakes his head. I can't really explain what it's like where I live, but someday I'll take you there. And so we hope that you're able to take us there today.
Thanks so much, Todd. I love it. I'm looking over at Mina and some of our youth fellows who we had a poetry night who would love that poem as well. So that's actually a nice shout out. We'll be doing some poetry in the Design Justice for Youth to Innovator session later this afternoon. So if that resonated, make sure to make some time to stop by that. I am going to pass it over to Danny, who is our amazing program manager at Headstream, has been leading a lot of the work with our entrepreneurs just to do some definitions, just so we understand what we're talking about when we say innovation and we're all on the same page as we get ready to kick off the day. Oh no, looks like Danny may not have, may have had some technical difficulties. I don't see you here, so I'll talk them through. So when we say innovation, we're talking about the types of products, the types of services that entrepreneurs and startups are working on. We work with different types of startups and entrepreneurs, but all of them are market-based. They have solutions that are going to enter into the economy. So when we say market-based, it means that they're going into the economy so that they can be used. We also mean that they're sustainable. They're not dependent on grant funding necessarily, but they have a revenue model. When we say revenue, ways that money comes in, a revenue model that allows them to generate enough income or enough money to stay alive without depending on donations, without depending on grant funding. When we talk about an ecosystem, what we're talking about is the combination of a sector and the different people that play into a sector. So a sector could be the news and media sector. It could be oil and gas could be a sector. In this case, we talk a lot about three specific sectors. We talk about the health sector because we talk a lot about well-being. We talk about social tech sector because we're talking about social media, we're talking about video games, we're talking about streaming services, and we talk about the ed tech sector because a lot of these solutions in reaching young people happens through schools. So you'll hear us use those terms a lot today. We're going to say Y2I a lot. That's the Youth to Innovator summer program that we talked about. We'll talk about digital places and experiences. That's everything that encompasses those health sectors, the education technology sectors, as well as the social tech sectors. So everything that a young person experiences through digital places and experiences is really core to what we're looking for at Headstream. I think that's it. But if anything comes up throughout the day, please do stop us. Don't be shy to say, hey, what did you mean when you said ecosystem, this, that, that? We want to make sure that you feel included, that this is a place that anybody can participate, whether your background comes from highly academic, whether you've been doing poetry readings with Todd for the last 5 years, whether you're jumping in today for the first time to learn about this space. Like, we want you all to feel like you're included and part of this journey together. Cool. So what is this journey going to look like today? We're quickly going to go over the schedule so that we can all kind of think through how to plan our day together. Now, the first thing I want to say is that we're super grateful that you all joined for the kickoff, but understand that 5 hours is a long time to spend on a Zoom call, especially when you have a lot going on, or especially when your kids are taking Zoom classes next to you. So we totally understand if you need to jump on and jump off. Please stay for as much as you want, as much as you can, but we totally understand that you may have to jump off and then you can come back an hour later if that works for your schedules. There's back-to-back schedules or sessions. And so there's not much time in between sessions, but we will give a little bit of a buffer as you're joining sessions, but do your best to try and make it to the sessions on time. There are a few that after 15 minutes or so, we will close and you won't be allowed in. So you may get into the waiting room and keep an eye out for a message from the administrator in the room who might say that, sorry, this session is closed. At each interval, at each kind of half an hour mark, there'll be 3 sessions ongoing. So you're gonna have a hard choice, and we'll go over a little bit of those choices in a second so that you can plan out and decide your day. It's, again, fine to stay for 1 session, or you can stay for the whole day as well. And the last thing I just wanted to mention is that we are gonna record most of these sessions, and that's just so that we can share out with our community, as well as with the people who are involved in the sessions who can capture some of the learnings from you all as the community. One last recommendation, if you're here from the same organization, try to split up and go to different sessions. Since there's 3 sessions ongoing at each time, maybe you go to Build with Social Tech Entrepreneurs first, and your colleague goes to the Blended Capital for Youth Wellbeing session. That way you can share the knowledge afterwards, and we can also benefit from sharing your own expertises into those sessions as well. So, Danny, have you been able to resolve the internet and make it back? Dang, unfortunate. Okay, so Bridget, can you keep that slide up? And we're just going to talk through the different tracks. As you can see on that slide, there's 3 different tracks. So the entrepreneur track, if we look down there, this is your chance to meet with the 15 entrepreneurs in the Headstream Accelerator. So each session, you'll play the role of advisor for these entrepreneurs. They'll share their story, they will share the innovation that they're working on, and then you'll have a chance to meet with them in small groups and provide feedback, get creative with them, and take that half-baked idea that Todd was mentioning and find that other person sitting next to you virtually to provide that feedback and to provide that idea and ideation. There'll be 5 sessions of those throughout the day. And so you'll get to meet 3 entrepreneurs in each one of those sessions. And we highly recommend you take that chance to meet the entrepreneurs and to get a chance to serve as their advisors. The second track is the economy building track. And this is when we talk about all of these components that go into making up a sector. You'll get a chance to explore a number of those different components, starting off with Todd and the Second Muse Capital team, talking about blended capital. Then later in the day, you'll get a chance to learn about the impact measurement tool that we're building at Headstream. That tool is for entrepreneurs as well as for investors. Then you'll get to jump in and meet a number of the Y2I teens, the youth to innovator folks, and talk about their experience in our summer program. They'll be leading this workshop. It is an awesome opportunity to hear directly from them and learn about the ways that we've designed anti-oppressive principles and justice into our work at Headstream. And then finally in this track, you'll get to see and learn about our new research project where we're using crowdsourced techniques to bring all of the ideas for changing this sector together. Then Marie, do you want to talk a little bit about our community track?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited for the community track today. This is an opportunity for you to get to meet the other participants of the Headstream Innovation Festival. So starting off this morning, we'll have a social networking lounge. Well, you will have the opportunity to network one-on-one, meet someone new, exchange ideas, and talk about your plan for the day. Next up, you'll have the option of either attending the Headstream Accelerator #2 Q&A session, where you learn all about the next generation of the Headstream Accelerator, or you can attend the Headstream Youth Programming session with Mina and myself, where we'll walk you through how we designed youth programming at Headstream and answer any of your questions. And then next up, you'll have another opportunity to do some social networking in the lounge, reflect upon the sessions you've been to so far and meet someone new. Next, you will have the opportunity to meet some of our Youth to Innovator youth advisors from our program. So if you didn't get the opportunity to meet them yesterday, this is your opportunity to do so. They're going to share with you their projects that they worked on all summer long and answer any questions that you have for them about either their projects or their experience in Headstream, or just get to know them better. Then you'll have another opportunity for social networking. If you just want to take a break, again, get to know somebody new, share something you learned. And if you weren't able to attend the first Headstream Accelerator #2 Q&A, now's your opportunity to do so. You'll have one last opportunity for social networking from 3:30 to 4 p.m. Pacific time. And then we'll round out the community track with another opportunity for you to meet 2 new teens from our Youth to Innovator program, hear their projects, and get to know them a little bit better. I'll pass it back to you, David.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marie. So it's going to be a jam-packed day. And we want to make sure that you all feel included, feel that this is accessible, not just from the tech side of things, but from your participation. And we're going to ask a lot of you. These are not going to be sessions where you're just going to sit back and listen to us as if it was a panel. We really want you to bring your expertises, whether that's coming from the work that you do on the 9 to 5, but also your lived experiences. That's what we really value. So make sure, as Todd was saying, that you feel free and safe to share. We also want to make sure if anything makes you uncomfortable at any point during the day, please reach out to one of the Headstream team members. We are here to support you and to make sure you have the best experience. And we are talking about mental health. We are talking about well-being. So things can come up, and don't feel shy to ask for a little bit of help or to talk to one of us. We are here to support you. We're almost ready for the sessions. And I just wanted to say that one size fits all solutions aren't going to meet the needs for all of us in this complex situation that we're all living in right now, especially for young people. So today you'll meet a diverse set of innovators who represent the lived experience and commitment to design to address equity and resource gaps, especially for the communities we care so much about at Headstream: LGBTQI teens, Black and Indigenous people of color, Latinx teens, and teen girls. And so I want to share a short video of our innovators as we get started, just to get you all excited for what's to come today. All right, I hope you can see this. I had a chance to practice yesterday, but give me a thumbs up if this works for y'all.
Let us paint a picture. We are living in a highly polarized time. Conversations about today's issues are divisive and uncivil.
1 in 5 teens will experience depression before adulthood.
And research has highlighted that as a society, we are more lonely than ever.
But what if we had a technology that, instead of marginalizing us, understood us, catered to our needs, and actually helped us to better our self-esteem through artistic expression?
That's where we come in.
In the last few years, we've seen an increase in technology being used for good, and working with the other Headstream innovators has opened my eyes to the potential for digital technology to redefine well-being.
We're designing interventions that can help to overcome many of the systemic and institutional barriers that unfortunately exist within our systems of care in the United States.
We've had an amazing time being part of the Headstream program, which the team there has not only supported us, but also has held really important workshops with us around inclusive design and thinking about how we can measure impact in the long term on social.
It opened up a lot of opportunities and also connected me with a community of innovators that is fighting for the same thing.
And as COVID-19 has totally reshaped the way that people go about their social lives,
we still see so much potential now more than ever for these digital communities to serve young people and to lead this digital movement to make the internet and world a safer space for all people.
That's what we're here to create.
All right, are you all ready?